Well, you know, we always have trouble when we want to try to show projectors on the show, and typically that's because there's so much light in the studio. The image that we're projecting gets washed out, so it looks kind of crummy.
Absolutely, but we're showing off this Optoma projector. I think it's the EP771, and the brightness on this projector is actually quite amazing. It's about 3,000 ANSI lumens.
Yeah, which is pretty high in the past and even now. I mean, there's projectors out there that are 1,000 ANSI lumens or even less for that matter. So that's a measurement of how bright the actual projection is going to be. This one also does 2300 to 1 contrast ratio, but I mean, you can see on the screen right now, we've got a lot of light going on in the studio, but the image is pretty darn bright.
And it's especially something you want to look for, not if you're necessarily doing home entertainment where you have control over like taking your lights down and stuff like that, but when you take a projector into a business presentation and maybe you can't have control over things like lights or outside lights, it's nice to have a nice bright projector for that.
Well, especially when you know, the boardroom that you might be in might have windows all over the place and light is streaming in. This would be perfect for doing, you know, things like Excel spreadsheets and graphs. You'll be able to see all the crisp, clear numbers right up there. It's got a number of different inputs you can see on the back. Of course, it's got the VGA for your laptop or desktop computer. It's also got the DVI, the digital video input. You can also control it with, through the RS-232 port. And if you've just got a regular DVD player you want to hook in, for example, it's got the component video in and also SVHS.
And the nice thing about that is it does do the HD content as well. So it'll do 720p or 1080i, which means you'll get that really beautiful HD if you rent those movies and take it up to that level.
From what I understand too, they rate the life of the bulb around 2,000 hours, and apparently if you go into the econo mode you can get up to 4,000 hours, and that's an important thing to look at when you're looking at projectors, because when you have to replace that bulb, I don't know what it is for this particular one, but it could be in the hundreds of dollars. I've heard sometimes it's like $700 or $800 depending on what manufacturer and what model as well, but you'll want to look this one up here just to get the price right.
Absolutely, and the thing I like about Optoma is they've been in the business for a long time and they really do focus on projection type machines, so they're really good at making these. It comes with a remote control, just the things that they think about. If you are going to go into a presentation, you have the ability to do things like freeze the frame. I found that kind of interesting because if you're taking someone through a presentation and you want to stop on it, you can easily just press freeze and it holds that image up there. The rest of the presentation does continue to play along, so you got to
talk fast.
You got to catch up quickly. But it's even great for screening a show because you can quickly just stop on a graphic and like our show here and just show off where we came up with that idea.
So this one here, you know, typically in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. You're going to find that you're going to pay more for projectors that give the brighter ANSI lumens. Like we said, this one's about 3,000. I know projectors are getting down to like $500 or $600 now in some cases. But again, just, you know, compare the specs between the different ones and decide what you're going to be using it for. If you're going to be using it for business, you probably want something that's pretty versatile. So try to get as bright, you know, as projection as possible and a good contrast ratio, especially if you're going to be putting up things like spreadsheets. So, you know, a good little unit not only for business, but it's kind of one of those crossover ones as well if you want to take it home and watch a few movies on the weekend. It's not a bad buy.
See what's coming up next. I think my segment's on.